Greetings, I am Lies and I use she, her.
And I am Scandal and I use they, them.
And
Let's play a game together.
Okay, guys. Last time we didn't know how this worked, so we made a really long episode. This time we're gonna go through a completely different route and hopefully get some new ghosts.
Yes.
And sorry, I'm gonna break things.
You are really
I'm gonna break things.
honking around.
I'm saying, and we're gonna break it up into normal 30-minute segments.
Hello again.
Hi.
Hi. It's nice to see you.
Hi. She's just said hello the first time, didn't she?
Uh-huh.
And it's hello again. We're back to actually Steve.
Yeah, so the thing is the game does save afterwards, and we did actually look. So if you go to the graveyard section, you can actually see that there's like 15 to 20 ghosts or something.
And you can collect them all.
It's completely random.
We're not sure if it's random in every room, but it looks like it is randomized for sure, and there's a lot of ghosts to collect.
There's only 3 rooms, and then you might be able to actually unlock another room, but
I don't know.
I'll just put your name down. And you can go right in.
You're very cute.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Room of Palms, Liars, Room of Black.
So we chose the Room of Palms last time. Let's try the Sluggy Room of Black.
Sure.
That's when this area I'm like, what is it? It's the table.
It's just the table.
It's the freaking table.
Yeah, it's always been the
All
table.
right.
See? Poink and
there
it
we
becomes
go.
the table.
To me, it looks like it's supposed to be.
The Room of Black isn't really a room at all.
Oh dear. It looks like it should be a menu or something.
It's more of a garden courtyard.
Oh.
The sun beats down as you squint to see what's growing. Rows upon rows of yellow and brown plants, drying and rotting in the sun.
Oh.
What fruit these plants produced shriveled on the vine. But there's a peace to this place. The crickets are chirping, and well beyond the garden, a train passes.
Huh.
You sit at a table opposite an empty chair. Honestly, it really does sound like a sort of garden patio where the garden has been abandoned, and you're sort of in this old part of town where you have this sort of walled-in experience. You're sort of looking out, sort of all these dead and dying things.
And this is late summer because in the spring there was enough rain to just make them all grow on their own.
Yeah.
Even in
I can see
a
this
riotous mess where they go, and they fruit, and then you do get that thing where they just start dying and drying out, and you get the shriveled dried tomatoes hanging right on the dead vine.
I can see this very clearly.
Yep, well
Thanks.
done.
Very good. You sit at a table opposite an empty chair.
Ooh, there's the bell.
Ah, ding ding.
It's a different bell. I love that.
The bell rings and a ghost appears.
Poof! Oh, hello.
Oh, hi.
How do you do an undercut with tentacles?
I don't know.
I need to know.
Oh! I'm a ghost. Ooh. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
Apparently? Ooh.
LOL. Wait. LOL.
Okay, that's kind of cute.
Is it great being dead?
Your posture says that you're not super enthused about it, even if your voice does. It is pretty neat.
I mean,
I'd rather
I'm always enthusiastic.
be alive.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the rest of it is like, so I'm kind of gonna be like, I'd rather be alive.
You'd rather be alive? Oh my god. Actually, this is so sad. Being dead is the best way to live.
Oh.
I'm Drea. I'm like, dead, obviously.
It's nice to meet you, Drea. I'm also, dead. It is nice to meet you. You're cute.
Square.
You're not very nice. Hey, I'm cool.
Sure you are. That's not your Pontiac in the parking lot.
I don't remember how I got here. What's wrong with my car? I don't remember how I got here.
Weird. That's weird. Could be weird.
That's just who I am. I'll try. I think I'm a people pleaser. I'll try.
So, what are you into?
Oh, questions about ourselves?
Oh!
What if last time we just happened to get a battery of ghosts that just are programmed not to ask about you, and so it made it seem like the whole game is that flavor?
You are really preoccupied with that, aren't you?
No, I'm just saying, because we talked about it a lot, and then this is different because they immediately asked about us.
It's true, but it could also be just this ghost, so yeah. It could be just the random thing that we got.
Alright, looks, personality, a distraction. What are you into? I'm into a distraction.
I mean, you said, as far as
I like
tell.
personalities. I was totally gonna say personality, but I was just like, a distraction's a funny way to answer that.
Uh-huh.
I like how the shirt is just nope. It's just absolutely no, nothing. Personality.
Personality? Of course. I see right through you, other ghost. Literally, because, ghost.
Oh my god, you're so corny.
Drea looks round. Man, look at this place! Only ghosts would think a rotting garden is a good place to pick up.
And yet, you're here.
What's with the antler ghost?
What's with antler ghost?
I would just focus on them.
I don't know what that is, and so I can't ask about it. But I am gonna say, and yet, you're here.
Well, yeah, I'm here. Ever tried dating ghosts in the wild? They all just contort and wail, and not in the good way. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
What are you into? My ex was a nightmare.
Oh my god. Let's ask what you're into, because I would tend to follow the conversation. What are you into?
Boobies.
Oh my god.
Drea snorts a little. No, but seriously. I've gone out with all kinds. Pretty girls in dresses, who carry their own heads. A shadow who refused to let me look directly at him. Being dead is great. It's the other dead people that kill me.
Is it strong by energy?
Right.
Alright, blunt. I'm still not used to any of this. I don't know what that means.
I did honest. Blunt. That's what I would go with.
To the point.
Or you could just be, or you're just going, I'm still not used to any of this. Like, you're sort of going, I'm insecure with all that.
Also, the dating ghosts in the wild is so hard. I've dated tons of ghosts. Maybe you come here often.
You might.
I am not used to dating like this, so...
When I was alive, I loved jokes about dying. Life sucked. Jerks everywhere. Never enough money. The jerks got the money. Yes.
Aww.
I'd be all, the best way to die is now.
Aww.
Before death does me in. It should at least buy me dinner. Jokes, But now that I am dead, it just feels right. Like, maybe it was meant to be. Which, I guess, makes sense? Since we all die in jokes.
Poor thing, but that's really kind of cute.
The bell rings.
Uh-huh.
And their ghost rang that bell thing. That means we change places. See you in a bit. Oh, antler ghost?
I think it is giving us a little bit of world building. Oh no, the antler ghost is the one that logged us in. That signed us up.
We could ask about her.
I didn't think about her as antler ghost.
I didn't either. I just kind of thought of it, but you could probably date them. Because I don't actually know what they identify as.
I don't know what any of these really mostly identify as, unless because like there's very ambiguous gender with ghosts, which makes sense.
I appreciate.
Makes a lot of sense. On the other hand, like I like the idea that there's basically progressive world building in here, and this game gets a little more complex as you go through it again.
It's a little bit like Oxenfree.
It's a little bit. That's charming.
Yeah.
Charming.
Another ghost appears.
Oh, hello.
Hello there.
I see.
I'm Hattie. You'll have to forgive me. I'm a little shy. It's just so nice to get out of the home to see a new face.
I'm like, you're really cute. You remind me of like a molecular model.
Yes, kind of. Look,
with
I like
stick
sir,
on
ma'am,
eyelashes.
sir. You look like a DNA molecule.
You do like a DNA. You look like a little bit like Mr. DNA. Who
Hello.
gave the tour.
You look like Adams
In,
having
like,
a party.
Jurassic Park.
Yes.
The home.
The home.
I like your face too. I think we're just gonna say the home. I would say I love your eyelashes. Like that would be me. I'd be like eyelashes on point.
Hang on. I hung. Oh my god! I just forgot the act. I hunt the old folks' home, where I died. Queen Mary's. It's not a nice place to live, let alone die.
Oh. Few nursing homes are. They treated you poorly. I would tend to say this one. I know more.
Because you
them.
actually know more about.
Few nursing homes are.
The nurses do their best, but they are short-staffed. The residents are frequently neglected. To make Queen Mary's a little better, that is my mission. In death.
Also, usually they're exhausted. Even when they're not
Yeah.
Understaffed, they're usually overhour-ed, overbooked. So when they have the set amount of staff that is supposed to be and the full numbers of it, they still often have 12 or 16-hour shifts.
Well, and that's the thing that you go, why is that, though, then considered to be
the
fully
standard.
staffed?
Yep.
Actually, out of curiosity, if, technically speaking, if they're like, yeah, if you were supposed to work a 40-hour work week and that was supposed to get you all you needed to live, why is then having 12 to 16-hour days and having that sometimes, I imagine, that ran anywhere from 6 to 7 days a week?
I don't know.
Depending on what position
I remember
you're in?
there were weird things that people did, but I also remember they had Baylor shifts, which was one 16-hour day and then another 16-hour day, and then you got paid for 40. And some people would just take the Baylor shifts, but they usually would be tired for the next 2.5 days. On the other hand, there was one woman that would take 2 Baylor shifts a week, 2 days apart.
Ooh. Wow.
Uh-huh.
Ouch.
And she'd get paid for 80 hours a week, but she was so tired.
Ooh. Ow.
I was like,
Like,
I don't
you
know
barely
why they
get home.
I don't know why they have Baylor shifts. Why would that be necessary?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, are you truly sure? Like, I want to ask about, like, the hiring practices and your work practices.
Well, also just, like, the quality of life for your nurses.
Right?
Like, not only the quality of life for your patient, but the quality of life for your nurses.
It's like the bullshit, though, now with the stupid coronavirus stuff where a bunch of people were like, oh, yeah, the heroes work here. Why don't you pay them better? Why don't you treat them better? Why don't you give them,
meet their other needs.
Yes, stop. It actually, so, I don't know if, like, we have several followers that are from other parts of the world, but what I actually learned was that there are actually numerous nurses in various hospitals that, due to the ongoing waves, basically, of COVID cases breaking out more and more, are alternating back and forth. Some of them are so exhausted, they're just quitting. They're like, I'm not going to go through another round of this. I refuse.
They're like, I can't do it.
Yeah, and I'm like, but that's considered unacceptable, because some of them were like, I worked 24-hour days. It wasn't I worked 12 hours, it was I worked 24. And 12-hour was already too much.
Or
was
I
already
worked
tired.
16 every single day, 20 days in a row.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I did. And I can push through that in one stint, but there was no recovery till the next stint happened.
And everybody keeps going, yeah. And then they gave them, like, temporary, I think, for some of them, like, pay upgrades. And then, of course, they reverted all back. And most nurses, as far as I recall, make sometimes anywhere from about $14 to $16 an hour, and it's not very much.
I was saying,
which is pretty horrible.
The thing is like, the less someone's home, the more expensive their life becomes.
Yeah.
Because to maintain that level of energy and function, you have to buy and do other things.
You're getting convenience items a lot.
You get a lot of convenience items.
Yeah.
So you're not really improving your life when you're given more money. You're just able to maintain working that much more.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Because you don't have time to cook. You don't have time to do longer, slower, thoughtful things.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is my mission in death.
That's a really cute mission.
How do you help? You could haunt anywhere, though.
Oh, how do you help? I want to know what you do so much.
Any way I can. I keep watch on vitals. Ring a nurse when needed. Tuck residents in at night.
Aww.
In their final moments, I whisper in their ears. There is more, I say. Just you wait.
That's really cute.
That's so nice.
That is so nice. I love that.
I never thought death would be like this. As ghosts, we have power over the living, whether they know it or not. We ought to use that power for good.
We have the ability to give back, and I think that's great.
I get that's.
I also enjoy the contrast between you and the smoking lady, or Lady in Smoke.
Yeah,
that's very fun. But also, like, again, you're focusing on a different class,
right? I was actually going to say, so my friend and I had an interesting discussion basically about this, going like, if you had the ability to actually help someone, and they were in front of you, would you help them? Like, if you, even though at the cost, though, potentially of other people. And my response was, you can't judge the value of that. And I think that, like, for example, in this case, like, this is a person who's going, I can contribute now, so I'm going to contribute now, but it also doesn't necessarily hurt or completely take away from me.
Well, and the thing is this is something she's choosing to do.
This individual,
this individual wants to do, and that's very different. The conversation we were having, at least for the crux of it that I was focused on, was if you have something or are something that could benefit the population at large, and helping an individual right now may kill you, so you can't benefit the population at large, will that weight your choice in whether or not to rescue someone?
I mean,
or help someone?
To assume, the thing is like it's kind of engaging in sort of the trolley problem.
But it's talking about,
you could kill a whole group of people now.
But it's talking about what your own feelings are, not a trolley problem out there. But going, when you are standing in that circumstance, how do you feel? And that's just the question. And going, if you are not thinking about the bigger picture, and you're just going, oh my God, save them, then that's very different than someone who is going, I actually have the cure to Ebola in my pocket, and I need to get out of this building. Do I prioritize that?
But in my mind, I would imagine that if you figured it out, you still have your work in some area. You would have some... The thing is
it
that...
depends on every tiny variable.
And the thing is that, like, if somebody's figured it out, in my mind, like, they independently created printing in multiple different other locations before they created printing in the mass way that it's been done now... Someone else will invent it eventually. Like,
that's true.
That is sort of a level of, like, selfishness of going, you can contribute good now, why worry?
Well, the thing is when I was talking about it, the first thing that I came up with was actually Deku from Boku no Hero Academia. And go, he's carrying basically a functional object that was gifted to him by someone else for a purpose, which is his quirk.
Yes.
And going, should he take more responsibility in making it so he doesn't wear himself down sooner,
right,
or waste that quirk by dying now because it's a bigger legacy
now,
than himself?
See, in that case, though, I would agree more with you, because I am more on my friend's side of going, like, in this particular fictional scenario, because this is all these are, I would be like, this particular character is, in my opinion, actually going to literally physically damage himself to such an extent that he will not be able to function, and actually it has actually caused him to have some disability. But they've magically gone, oh, well, now he can't break his legs to that degree because otherwise the series would be over, you know, kind of thing. But if you were being really realistic about how much he busts his legs throughout the course of the, like, even just the anime, because the anime, I think, ups it a little bit more, because they're trying to make it more interesting, is that he would actually just become disabled, more or less.
But it is a thing to ask yourself sometimes of going, what are my priorities, and if I take on a responsibility for someone else, does it affect how much I feel like I can help people right now?
Right.
And that is a big question.
Which I wish, though, they would explore more in the series, and that's the thing, though, that you and I like,
would be neat.
This is what we like about Boku no Hero Academia, you guys.
I agree. I don't think it's also not fun to do that.
Oh, heck yeah.
Like, for me, she's like, what about fun? I'm like, it is really fun to encourage someone, to support someone, to make their life better.
Heck yeah.
Now that you're dead,
it's not... Hello? Oh, it's because Numlock's not on. No? This doesn't work. Okay.
What do you do with your time?
I don't know. I help people too. I play tricks on people. I'm still figuring that out. Holy cow, this is only my second round.
Yeah.
It's strange, being dead. There's a Bible verse I think about sometimes. It is better for you to enter the kingdom of God with one eye than to have two eyes and be thrown into hell, where the worms that eat them do not die, and the fire is not quenched. I still have both my eyes, but what I see isn't like hell.
That was kind of a lot to put out there all at once. I also didn't know the later part of that verse, because I've heard the first part of it like bunches of times, but nobody ever finishes it. Hell is other people. That's over my head. I wish that weren't the only two options. I kind of would be like, just be like, talk about that more.
I was actually going to say, I would be like, could you explain that? Like, a little bit more of, like, what you think about it?
And also going, hell is other people sounds like so much social anxiety of I hate people. And that's over my head, but also, I just don't get it.
Maybe that does actually kind of tie a little bit into our conversation about the things that you would give. It is better that to be like, if I had to choose between potentially losing an eye and saving your life, I would rather lose the eye and save your life because you're that valuable. So it's been really interesting. There was I believe she's called the Skeptic Chick. Okay. I'll have to double check really quickly, or eventually when we do this video. Again, I'll put the link in the description down below, but she was actually talking about in other countries, they were like, why is it possible that in other countries where they have greater religion, are they actually happier, basically?
Right, okay.
And what they came to the conclusion of, if I remember correctly, and please feel free to correct me, I haven't seen the video super recently, but I'd have to go look at it again, where she does discuss, as far as the findings that they discovered, was that actually the reason why that like people seemed to be happier, so in some ways they were happier, but they didn't have as much access, was just because the religion itself, they believed so much more, that they actually expressed the values of the religion, which was to actually care for other people. So what like in our society, they're like, oh, does a religion cause a happier society? They're like, no. It's the fact that because everybody's on the same level, they're much more equivalent in terms of how much money they all all have, they don't have the disparity that we experience, for example, like here in the United States. So the religion actually is more effective, because then the true meaning, for example, like being Christian, where they're like sharing your wealth and not hoarding and all that stuff, where suddenly they've gone into like wealth politics for a lot of like, so even like with Mormons, like when I used to be a Mormon, there was a lot of things about basically trying to in some way start to go, hey, having wealth is actually a good thing, even though it used to be in the Bible where Jesus like specifically
poor and humble.
Yeah, be poor, be humble, care for your fellow man. If you have one other shirt left, or if this person is starving and you don't have any other shirts, give him your shirt because he is suffering more than you.
See, and what I was going to say is, as far as I understood the video, what it came down to is, in places where religion makes people happier, it is because they have community.
Yes.
It is because their belief systems create community, not because of any specific creed or following or dedication, and not because of the religion itself.
No.
It is because of the community.
Yes.
And community breeds equality and comfort and safety and companionship and gets rid of so many things that makes people's life hard.
Yes.
I'm just going to try hell as other people, basically being like, if you are in hell, and interpret it as it is because of the surrounding people around you. Mm-hmm. And not all people are hell, but hell can be the experience you have with other people.
Right. I don't know.
I've heard that. I don't believe it. I can't imagine anything worse than being alone.
Oh, no. But you're probably alone, that's why you're here.
Were you alone when you died?
When you were alive.
Excuse me, but I'm also imagining
this isn't much better. Were you alone when you were alive? I'm gonna ask.
That
would be where I would go.
No, I had a partner, Milton.
Aw.
He's still alive, actually.
Aw.
A resident at the home.
Oh, goodbye. Ding ding.
The bell rings.
It does.
Oh, I guess that's our time. I suppose I will see you again when I come back around. Thank you for the talk.
Hi.
It's actually very fucking interesting. This is, like, I was sort of expecting this to be a little bit sillier, but this is far more serious.
I like it.
I do
Honestly,
too.
I like it a lot.
The
first round was a little bit sillier, but again, the randomization of the ghosts, I bet you could have so many different experiences with this game.
Right.
And if it is like a complete randomizer, it means everyone's going to get a different mix. So even whether it's in different rooms or whatever it is, you're gonna get a totally different feel for the game depending on which three show up together. And they're even gonna like augment your experience with each other as a group. You know?
Right.
This is cool.
Another ghost appears.
Oh, hello. It is the scream. It's the scrim.
The ghost says nothing, only stares.
Hi. I would talk.
Sure.
Hi. What is it you require? Fun? Companionship? I'm not sure, because we're talking requirements. So I'm real big on language, so if I'm kind of playing me in this scenario, and if I was a ghost and I was trying to date, which is a real stretch in so many ways, but saying, if someone asks what I require, it's sort of like asking what you need, as opposed to what you want, and needs are so basic that I don't feel like I need fun or companionship. So I would say I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You have an eternity to decide. That is what it means to die. We are stripped of time. We are given eternity.
So hang on, does that make you a vampire?
Well, I was gonna say,
weirdly enough, if you look at being sort of like you don't have any connections or possessions to things, but that actually makes me kind of think of going, because a lot of vampires then go, we are completely basically separated and removed from being able to experience death. Like some mythos go, some vampires can never die, right? And they just go, so you're stripped from living at all anymore.
So I would tend to say we can't be vampires, because vampires in every mythos that I know of require taking something to sustain themselves.
I know, but not all of them. It really does depend.
Are we immortals?
Yes.
Yes. It sounds like you live your first life, and then you move to your second life. Your first life is temporary, and your second life is permanent, and all of them are trans now because they've all transitioned. Done! Who are you? Or what are you? I would not ask that. You don't just ask what people are.
Oh my god, what are you? So who are you?
My name. I am unknowable.
Oh.
But you also wish to date. excuse me, entity, I do want you to know that you are actually here to get to know someone and also them to get to know you. So you may be missing the point of this activity if you are unknowable.
Actually, I've always thought it was a really fun thing to do with my friend. So we both actually have a fair amount of characters. I have a lot more characters than my friend does. But sometimes we pose hypotheticals to each other and go, okay, so what would it take for your character to basically then end up in sort of like a speed dating scenario? And the fun thing is then you could even do this activity yourself of going, really, especially with like seeing a story like this and being sort of honest about like what their flaws are and what's going on in their lives, like and really sort of going, what would bring them to a scenario where they'd be like, I am here basically in some form of like dating or speed dating thing. What would they talk about who they are as people? What are the things, because they only have a certain amount of minutes to be able to discuss, what would they do?
Well, and one of the interesting things is if you have a character that's either really edgy or really toxic or really distant, you still have to think about, they deliberately decided to end up in this situation. Yeah. And they're doing it for themselves. They're not being coerced here. Yeah. So how did they do that and what are they after?
Right. So you'd have to basically figure out some sort of meta in order to figure out exactly what was going on.
But it's a fun way. It's also a fun way to get to know your characters, especially if you like your characters have never been in a relationship before, or if they have, or if you have trouble, like you want to ship them but you have trouble doing it or whatever. You could be like, how would they approach this? And also, if it's like speed dating, everyone else here is also trying to make a connection. What does it look like?
And the reason I say that is because this character, and especially even like a couple of the other ones that we've run into beforehand, like the football star, is a level of kind of going, why else are you here? Because you're a little bit too goofy, or you're a little bit too, well, like in some ways I'd be like, wow, you're really edgy, you're really dark, you know, kind of thing. You'd be like, wow,
how did you end up here? Individual?
You seem like you're not looking for a date.
The shadow of a shadow. You can call me Gary.
Oh my god, this would be funny as hell.
I wanted to say Gray because of my brain. That is who I was. Who I used to be. Tell me about Gary. What happened to you? I would not ask about Gary because that's not who you are anymore. What happened to you?
The ghost's eyes grow wide.
Whoa.
He breathes in deeply, remembering something horrible.
Whoa.
Oh, let me know.
Whoa.
Hang on.
I have to give my friend the sound for a second.
Hang on, I gotta hear.
Because we are sharing a single headphone thing right now.
It's really funny.
And it got very spoofy.
Remembering something horrible.
I'm sorry. What's wrong? I think I would just say I'm sorry for asking the question. Like, whoa, that seemed to upset you. I'm sorry. Do not be sorry. Sorry is reserved for those who are not. You do sound really edgy still.
You do kind of sound edgy.
I still feel the blade. The life draining out. Emptied. An empty space. Where once there was something. Now cobwebs. A draft.
Who killed
you? I'm so sorry, Gary. I would say I'm sorry. I would not ask, oh my god, what happened to you? Because what you sound like
is sad
and upset. And I don't tend to focus on, what is that? You know, in that way. Do not be sorry. I know you told me not to say sorry. Gary's gone.
But it still hurts you. Wow, that took all the time.
It did.
The bell rings. Your time with Gary is over. He lifts up his fragile frame and shambles over to the next table.
Oh.
What is he looking for?
That is a good question, because I was absolutely going there with what is he looking for? And I think since this is the second round, this is probably a good place to call it and just cut it right in half.
Yeah, sure, that works with me. I will actually, though, say I am kind of entertained that they're specifically trying to poke you at specific people.
It does feel like that in both cases, that it is trying to gently guide you or directly guide you.
And my question is
towards
why?
Specific people.
I kind of want to almost, basically in this way, sort of like metagame and go, friend, you should probably actually see what they're trying to do. But I kind of don't want to force it either. Because as much as I'm curious,
I want to find out what it says at the end of the second round and what it says about the people like, well, you might not want to do this, or well, probably this thing. Like, I want to find out if it gets passive aggressive again.
Yeah.
And see if it tries to sort of direct us towards someone.
it does seem, like I said, especially in this case, because now you've got your two, I will say, most physically unappealing, as it were, characters. One of them seems to be like a lumpy mass with a face strapped to it, and then the other one, so you have Steph and then you have Gary. Gary is a screaming void, a horror. But it's also sort of almost looks like the Scream, that very classic.
But that very shriveled, damaged, off-putting sort of body. And I'm wondering if it's the same kind of thing. The third one that shows up is meant to be more off-putting, a little more intense, a little more uncanny, in some ways, and also going, well, maybe they're not as interesting. Maybe they're all more off-putting. They're not as engaging as the other ones.
Well, see, the thing that sort of cracks me up is I'm kind of actually wondering if they start, basically, here's your more conventional, like the thing you would expect to be at least closer towards being
or more comfortable with.
Or more comfortable, and then they go weird, and then they go really basically what would be weird. And I apologize, that probably is some sort of value judgment placed there. But it is like, if you were just a probably more average than ourselves, because we have spent more times in more extreme circles, I think, for various like monster categories. Is that some people would really be like, whoa, that is a, and so I'm wondering kind of then, what was the intention with the writers for their audience? Then who do they believe that's on the other side, and what judgments are they basically assuming that we will have?
I'm also wondering, again, if there is a bigger story to all of this. Like, the game feels very simple, but the fact that you've got a giant graveyard to unlock, and the fact that we had the option to ask about our host, if you will, which dear creature, I didn't connect to, but now I've got it. So the game did make it clear. And
Antler.
Thank you, Antler. I would say that there does seem to be some slowly advancing world building. I'm very curious about how deep and complex this game goes, and if it has an overarching narrative kind of thing, and I like that.
Yeah. So thank you very much, everybody, though, for joining us. I'm really excited to kind of see where this next round goes. We don't know how much more of this we will play. Like, we're kind of guessing at least one more episode, but we'll see.
I mean, we're definitely going to finish this round. So
I just don't. My big thing, though, is that I'm actually curious enough to almost be like, I really want people to go play this game. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I was shocked actually to see just how many ghosts there were, and also the fact that it got way more intense as we kind of went along, and I'm like, hang on, this is way more thoughtful than I actually thought it was going to be. So I feel much more engaged.
I'll say, neither of us want to ruin the entire game.
Yes.
Or basically share absolutely every bit of the content, because we would like you to check it out for yourself. But we are going to finish this round of dating, and we will see you in the next one.
Yes, and I have been Scandal, so if you want to support us, please feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi and our Patreon and our Twitch. We have some links to the description down below. We'd love to see you there. We'd also like to see if you guys wouldn't mind
interacting with the video.
Yeah, it actually helps us out a lot with the YouTube algorithm.
It does.
And yeah, I already said mine. I said I have been Scandal.
Oh, no.
You forgot. You were.
And I have been Lies. and it was great playing with you. Bye!